A reading this morning is taken from Mark 6th chapter, 41st through the 44th verse. And this is Jesus speaking. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and he blessed and brake the loaves. And he gave them to his disciples to set before them. The 2 fishes divided he amongst them all. And they did eat and were filled. And they took up 12 baskets full of the fragments and of the fish. And they that did eat of the loaf were about 5,000 men. And I would say male and female. And thus is the scripture reading of Mark, the 6th chapter, the 41st through the 44th verse. Good morning. As we prepare ourselves and entering into that energy and vibrations of thanksgiving, let us have a deeper understanding of the meaning of thanksgiving. And as you noticed in the scripture, it stated that Jesus took the loaves, the 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he looked up to heaven and he blessed the bread and the 2 fishes. He blessed them. In other words, when he blessed them, he also gave thanks for that which he had blessed, for that which was in his possession. He blessed and he gave thanks. And after the blessing of the bread and the fish, the substance would multiply. And so he gave to those that were present. And according to scripture, it states that by the blessing and giving thanks for that which he had, he was able to give and feed 5,000 that were present. But not only was he able to feed the 5,000 with the two fishes and 5 loaves of bread, but scripture states that after the feeding the multitude of 5,000, that there were 12 baskets left over. 12 baskets of food left over. Now, scripture doesn't state how big the baskets were, but scripture does state that in the blessing and giving thanks, to what was present in the way of food that Jesus fed 5,000 miles. There was so much in the 5 loaves and 2 fishes that they were not able to eat it all. And you know, there's an experience, and I've shared this with you before. You go to one of these places that say all you can eat for a certain amount of money, all you can eat. And I've known people to say, well, I'm not going to eat today because I'm going to this all you can eat buffet. And I'm going to eat them out of house and home, as they say. But you know, if you've ever been to one, the more you eat, the more they put out there. Food just keeps right on coming. And I've seen people come in with big pocketbooks and stuff the pocketbooks, those big bags, going back, getting more, going back, getting more, and into the bag it went. The food kept right on coming. They could not eat up all the food that they had. And so we must learn and understand the power of blessing what we have. We want more, but we are not appreciative of what we already have. And we are not blessing that which we already have. And you know, the law is, has always been, and will always be, what you bless blesses you in return. And if one is to follow the law and put into practice those principles, then there would be no need for want. There will be no need for anything. There will be no need for anyone to go through life lacking or not having. And if they do, and when they do, it is because they have not understood the power of blessing that which you have. You know, I've said many times wherein I've known, especially children, that are truly blessed with abundance of food. And they are hungry. And they go to the refrigerator or to the cupboards. And they say, Mom, I'm hungry. Well, look in the refrigerator and in the cupboards. And, well, I don't see anything that I like. Food falling off the shelf. Sometimes food going bad, wasted. We are not appreciative of what life has already blessed us with. We want more, but we don't show appreciation or thankfulness for that which we already have. And so if we don't show thankfulness or appreciation for what we already have, why should life bless us with more? It would only be a waste. We have to learn to use and to appreciate that which life God has already blessed us with. And in being appreciative and thankful for what we have more to give because more will come into us. And you know, there's that scripture that says that God will fill your cup till it runneth over. And if God will fill your cup till it runneth over, you know, if you ever been out to one of these restaurants and you had your coffee and or tea or whatever, they usually serve you a cup of coffee or tea with a saucer under the cup. That's to catch the overflow, that which you spill. But when God fills your cup to overflowing, you can drink from the saucer. You can drink the overflow, and your cup is always full. So it is when you understand the power of blessing and being grateful and thankful for that which God has already blessed you with. Now, Jesus gave a great demonstration. You got 5,000 people, hungry folk, setting out in the wilderness. And all his disciples had was 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. Now, when you just look at that, do you think that that's enough to feed 5,000 people? But Jesus knew what he needed to do. To those that had come to him hunger, he took that which he had and he blessed it. Says that he lifted up the bread and the fish. In other words, when he said, the scripture states that he lifted up to heaven, Jesus raised his consciousness. Raised it up to wherein he knew the truth and the power of blessing. Now, when you got 5,000 people coming and you only got 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, I mean, ordinarily that's not going to go. That's probably enough to feed 2 people, depending upon how much bread they like or eat. But in your life, as we prepare for this Thanksgiving holiday, you must know and understand that Thanksgiving is more than the gathering of family friends at the dinner table. Not only are you giving thanks for the food that is before you or the food that has been prepared for you, but you're giving thanks for everything and all things that you have been blessed with. You're giving thanks for your job. You're giving thanks for your relationships. You're giving thanks for your children, your loved ones. You're even giving thanks for the house that you live in. And if you giving thanks that you have the money to pay your taxes, don't moan and groan when it comes time to pay taxes or pay your bills. Give thanks that God has blessed you with the substance. And I always like to tell people, even when you're going to the gas station to fill up your car, to put gas in your car, bless the gas that's going into your tank. You will multiply, you'll get more mileage. Everything that you bless blesses you in return. Not one thing, two things, but all things. So if you're wanting to experience, it's like when you put money in the bank and you draw interest on your money, that's a return on what you have invested, basically. So it is with life. When we bless everything that we are a part of and connected to, there is a return. What you bless blesses you. You have deposited a blessing into your bank of consciousness or into your bank of spiritual growth and unfoldment. And there is a return. There's a scripture that states, bread cast upon the waters, after many days shall return. The scenario of that is if you're out on the bank, physically speaking, and you cast bread out on the waters, that bread is going to move away from you, going downstream. But your return is going to come to you from upstream. So it is with your blessings. You cast your blessing on or away from you onto something, and it returns to you from on high, from that God consciousness, or from the treasures that have been stored up in heaven. Thanksgiving should not be a day or one day of a year. Thanksgiving should be every day. It should be every moment of your life. Every moment of your life, you have a heartbeat. Every moment of your life, you're breathing. Give thanks. Give thanks that you woke up this morning. Give thanks that you're breathing this morning. And when you're able to wake up and give thanks that you are still above ground in your prayers and your meditation, send out blessings to all of life. This is the meaning of Thanksgiving. We're grateful and thankful for that which we have, and we're motivated to give unto others that which has been given unto us. Give them your love. Send forth your peace. Bless them in all areas of their life. You see, when we are on the spiritual path, for those of us that have made the commitment and the dedication, it's not just about us. It's about all of God's children. And I know sometimes folks go through life and say, well, I don't know those folks, they're no kin to me, and, why should I be concerned about what they're going through, et cetera, et cetera. That's when you're looking at life on the worldly level. And it's a sad thing. But when you are lifted up in consciousness, you realize that we all brothers and sisters of one family. And we have come to lift up, not to step on top of, not to push aside. We have come to lift up our brothers and sisters, for we're all God's children. Now, if you don't want to do for your brothers and sisters, how can you expect God to do for you? If you don't want to do for your brothers and sisters, how can you expect God to do for you? You know, when you're in a family, you got 2 or 3 siblings in a family or more, and you have some disagreement. Parents have to step in and kind of meddle things out. But when it's time to eat, we all come to the table. We all partake of the same food. The mother, the father don't tell you, I'm not going to feed you because you've been bad. Go in your room. To the table and we will sup together. So it is with the Spirit of God. God provides for us all. And if we are representatives, if we are children of the light, children of the source, then we must recognize and know that we are all brothers and sisters, one family. And that which we do for ourselves, we must be willing to do for others. And you know, it's not a thing all the time. I used to say in the past, you know, and still to this day, you know, you're driving down the street and you come to a red light. There's a guy or a woman on the corner with a sign saying, help feed me. I need to feed my family and all. Sometimes I reach in my pocket and I give what I can. Sometimes when I come to a light and there's somebody there with a sign, I give them a blessing. I give what I have to give. But I don't turn my head the other way without giving something. It's either monetary or a blessing. And a blessing will go much further than a monetary donation. But give. Think of, according to scripture, it was said that as Peter was going into the temple, there was a blind man sitting by at the door of the temple, begging alms. And Peter said unto him, gold and silver I have not, but such as I have I give unto you. He gave him his blessing. And I just want to share this story with you again that I've shared many times. I was going into one of my favorite places, Popeye's Chicken. There was a lady standing at the door. She was very well dressed. And she said to me, she said, can you give me some money so I can buy some food? I said, well, I'm not going to give you any money, but I'll buy you some food. Come on in, Popeyes. She came in behind me. And I think I said something to the fact of what you want She proceeded to curse me out. She wanted money. She didn't want Popeye's chicken. She didn't want no food. She cussed me out from the top of my head down to the soles of my feet and back up the other side. Well, I was about ready to say something because she would come between me and my chicken here now. Cussing me out in front of Popeyes and all these people. And then you putting all this negative energies on these chicken I got to get. But I was able to maintain my cool. And I blessed her. I didn't turn around and face her and say, I bless you at that point. But in my mind, in my consciousness, I blessed her. And she sat there in Popeyes and waited until I got my chicken. And of course, as I was walking out, I had to walk past her. And she gave me the meanest look. You see how people do when they don't do what you want them to do? They will say some mean, nasty, ugly things about you. But I was determined she was not going to interfere with me and my Popeye's chicken. She could say, curse, do all she wanted to do. But I blessed her. And so sometimes there are times when we go through life, we will meet people that will just not like us because we won't respond accordingly or the way they want or think that we should respond. But I say to you, when those challenges come before you, bless them. There is no greater power than the power of a blessing. And as I've said earlier, everything that you bless blesses you in return. Now, I'm sure that somebody else came along, probably gave her some money. She accepted it. She probably cussed them out if they didn't give her enough. So sometimes you just can't please people. But when you give them your blessing, when you bless them with the light and the truth and the love of God, you don't have a thing to worry about. And that blessing at some point will bring about a change in their lives. That's what it is. That's what we're here for. If we can't give monetarily, give of your blessing. Give of the love that you have in your heart. Give of the consciousness that you have that is filled with the blessings and the wisdom, the understanding and the power of God. Let every day be a day of thanksgiving in your life. Thankful for what you have and thankful that you're able to give and to share. You feed your children on Thanksgiving Day. Sometimes you have friends over and you feed them. Come in and celebrate, enjoy Thanksgiving. We want to share the good that we have with you. There are many people that will not have a meal this Thanksgiving Day. But we should also be grateful and thankful for the many organizations that are taking on food and donations to feed the hungry. And if you are a part or have made donations to that cause, bless that which you have given. And bless in your prayers and in your meditations, bless every man, woman, and child, and see and feel them being not only fed physically and materially, but also spiritually. That is the meaning of Thanksgiving. Being thankful for what we have and being grateful that we are able to share, to give unto others that are less fortunate than we are. And so I say to you, enjoy your Thanksgiving, but always remember, Thanksgiving is every day of your life. And so it is. Namaste.